Welcome to the moon. This is our Near Earth Hub, a broadcasting facility jointly set up with the Haas Corporation. As you can see here, Director Haas is in the office today, and she's ready to show this chaos theory a spanking. Alright, so everyone, I finally found myself a pack of Upstock and we'll begin playing some games with the new cards that Upstock has to offer for real. So I'm playing Near Earth Hub, and this deck relies a lot on asset-based economy, but runs some very interesting other assets as well, the most notable of which is obviously Director Haas. Basically, this deck contains pretty much every single fast advance trick in the book for both Haas and MBN factions. There's Biotic Neighbors, Director Haas, Astro Scripts, and Sand City Grids, all of which you can see in my opening hand. I have one of each. This is looking really good for me. And the early hedge fund and mark accounts is going to set me up for a very long run, a very long good run. So I'm looking, this is pretty much the best opening I can ask for, more or less. Maybe a better ice over HQ. I installed an Ouroboros there first because I figured I needed a wraparound to quickly score an Astro Script from a remote. But looking at the way that the game is turning out now, I guess I don't need the Ouroboros or the wraparound. I took the risk here. I let him access my hand with a 1 in 4 chance of sniping the Astro Script. Thankfully, he didn't find it. So as a result, next turn, I'm able to score the Astro Script from hand. Now, Director Haas is fantastic. I can't stress enough how great she is. It is basically a Sand City Grid that costs half the amount to res and actually does work for you even if you do not have a 3-2 in hand. It still gives you an extra click to click for credits to install more ice, etc. Of course, you need to protect her, and I managed to do this because the runner has left himself in a very vulnerable position. Look at his credit pool. He started my Astro Script scoring turn with only 1 credit to his name. So it's going to take him forever to climb up the credit ladder just to be able to trash my Director Haas. One of the major factors that helped me was that he scored the NAPD early on from my open R&D. That set him back 4 credits, which was more than enough to secure my Director Haas in the meantime. Now, he attempts to run my Director Haas, and I made sure that I had enough credits to rest the RSVP before he entered the server. So now I'm looking to get a few more credits so that I can really start owning the house with 4 clicks a turn. Giving the court 4 clicks a turn is asking for disaster, especially when the court has so many 3-2 agendas in their deck. Right now, I reviewed the Biotic Label from my hand, and yes, he is really in a lot of pressure to steal my agendas, because even if he manages to trash my Director Haas, I can still use my Biotic Label to score a 3-2 using just 6 credits. 7 credits. So, yeah. There are so many ways to score agendas that the only way you can stop me is to score 7 points before I do, pretty much. And he sets himself even further back with a what I consider to be a subpar move, installing the Magnum Opus and leaving him at 0 credits. So this actually buys me a lot of time. If he had ended his turn with 5 or 6 credits, I would be in greater pressure to further defend my Director Haas. But seeing that I have at least 2 turns, if not 3, to play around with, I can slowly gain credits and secure Director Haas. So yeah, he's putting himself in a very bad position, and I see that he's trashing a lot of Gordian Blade. So that alerts me of 2 things. Firstly, Gordian Blade is his code gate breaker. Secondly, he has 1 in hand, otherwise he wouldn't trash into archives. At this point, I scored a breaking news, and I have 1 click left over with Director Haas. Here, I wish I had a Scorched Earth or something to punish him, but he's not running any resources, and I don't have any close accounts, so I'll just use the last click to do something random. So right now I'm in fantastic shape. I have a fast track in hand. The fast track is always meant to close out the game. I'm not going to use it to pull out an Astro script, especially when I can pull it out from the top of my deck myself. So that's exactly what I do, and this brings me to 5 points, match point, and pretty much game. Because as long as he has no way to destroy my fast track, I will win the game. And he plays the Nerf Agent, which I'm not worried by at all. He can steal the breaking news for all I care, because next turn I'm just going to fast track an Astro script to win the game. And yes, he has no icebreakers at all. He has no money to install any icebreakers. He took too long setup, and I just won the game. So Director Haas is incredibly powerful as illustrated by this gameplay video, but it has severe limitations that good runners will be able to counter. At the end of the day, it only costs 5 to trash her. So it's as long as the runner doesn't leave any scoring windows for the court, it's very hard to get a Director Haas going. The other point is that Director Haas, you might think it's not worth the influence and the liability of being worth 2 agenda points if stolen. My take on it is that it basically increases your agenda density slightly, both for the runner and for you. Because for you, it allows you to get your 3-2s out of your hand. For the runner, it's another 2-pointer that he can score. But for the runner, it's a very expensive NAPD. 5 credits just to steal the Director Haas. So I think it's worth it. The question is whether it's worth the 5 influence. That's the major issue. Because with that 5 influence, I could be spending it on much more cost-effective eyes such as Eli and maybe even archers. Yes, currently my only sentries are Ouroboros and Grim, both of which are not that ideal. So yeah, it's a very impressive deck. I must say, Astrobiotics is crazy good right now, and is only being helped by the existence of Near Earth Hub. I definitely will expect quite a lot of Near Earth Hub to be played in competitive play from Upstart onwards. Astrobiotics, it's really quite hard to outspeed NBN. All they need is an Astro script, a biotic label, and 7 credits, and they're good to go. So I think lots of runner decks will have to start thinking of a solution to this ASAP. And remember that the rate at which the court can draw these cards into their hand is accelerated thanks to Near Hub's ability. So the ID ability with the extra influence complements itself very, very well. And yeah, I think Astrobiotics will be a competitive archetype that I'm looking to refine myself. Thanks for tuning in. Happy net running.